Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first All About Shipping live briefing of the markets, what has happened briefly and what will happen in the future. First of all, let's go a bit back to history. You must remember that on the 20th of May 2008, the Baltic Dry Index went up to its utmost level of 11,793 points. With the 6 months, the index on the 5th of December collapsed down to 663 points, and that was a disaster. And the disaster continued because it never made any corrections even to the levels of the 6,000 points mark, was the previous record, more or less before the 11,793. It went down again to a figure which was the disaster of 1,316. Everybody thought that the index will top the 2,000, but never happened. Again, the index all through 2009 started to go up, and of course, as you know, it topped even up to 4,463. Again, the index, following a short-lived expectation from everybody in the market, bankers, you want it, brokers, you name it, the index collapsed at 647. Its worst ever after the 662 points from 1985 when the index started. Now, the big wondering is, what's going to happen? Why the gurus got it wrong? So there are some important points. One of these points that we have always been claiming were right is that people were never disciplined to say out the truth. When I went out in the markets, whilst the index was falling below the 1,000 point marks, everybody thought that that prediction was really odd. But unfortunately, we've been pragmatic and correct, and we have saved our face everywhere in the markets. Now, I wonder what the gurus of predictions should say for the following things to come. Firstly, are we committed to carbon reduction? That's an important issue. How this affects the shipping industry and conversely the freight rates. Do we know how the world works? If yes, we need to understand this importance of how finely, we are balanced out with our climate system and how easily this can be destabilized. Forces of nature, of course, control these global temperatures. The fine equilibrium, though, is threatened by our generation and our greenhouse emissions. This is very important. This is something we have to watch if something suddenly happens. On the container trade, which is very, very important for many, many reasons, one must understand that we are heading to the wrong oligopolistic and monopolistic situations. Mergers and acquisitions are fantastic, that's fine, great, but we shouldn't ignore the fact that at the end of the day, the one who pays the damage for everything is the consumer. This is important. Unless something spectacular happens, I guess that the shipping industry will remain as it is more or less, with some small ups and downs until 2020. The world economy is in tatters. The superpower was about to close down. I mean, what does it tells you, the issue that you have a Democrat elected at the White House and the Republicans are pulling the strings. So these are very important issues. How do you see the intrusion, for example, of China? Well, why not, of course, to the European economies? This is very, very important. Of course, we like to see a free trade, but not this to the detriment of the consumer, because the prices that these goodies arrive are very low, and they're still sold on a higher level than one expected, given the globalization and the low prices from countries that they emanate. India, China, to name but a few. Korea, Taiwan, these are very important issues. The mega ships will be in need, of course, but this is also dangerous. Do we have the port infrastructure? Do we have the fast intermodalism to accommodate and see a cheap flow of the goods around the world in the hub ports they go? This is very important. We come to ports. The ports are very important, and the latest development with the intermodal infrastructure like the one that we have seen in the supply chain with Marks and Spencers, for example, with having the construction operation of their own warehouse at DP World, London Gateway, logistic parts, park. This is an excellent news, and this, for example, should have happened also in northern Greece, in Kavala, which has a hinterland to serve 375 million people. These are very, very important issues. We come now to finance. The people that they look for money, they go to banks, the banks are dried out. Some funds are available, others they go with IPOs or listings in the stock markets. This is fine and well, but that distorts more or less the shipping industry because, with all due respect, any Tom, Dick and Harry with a nice marketing and PR, unfortunately, they can slip in and get to the stock markets to the detriment of other companies which are very healthy and good, and they cause unnecessary, unfair competition. And you can see the results yourself. I don't need to tell you which company is doing well or not worldwide on a worldwide basis and which is not. The ports, as we said, is important. The LNG factor, of course, is very important to see what will happen, but technology should be halted because, I mean, it's too fast. We lack education and training, and this is a very important issue. We need this. Another issue we need to see is to control piracy. Having said that, indeed the figures are down, but we have more to see because piracy will never end. This is the most ancient of the jobs, I might say, and if you read carefully Plato's Republic, you see piracy there and the trips that are described in the 8-page passage. Now, the cruise industry, which is maritime tourism, that's another important issue. We've got the mega ships, the small ships, okay, fine. It's good, it's big ships, it's economies of scale, but how safe they are. Here you got cargo ships, for example, which have from 10 to 25 to 35 crew members, and yet we have problems in abandoning and evacuating a ship. So this is important. I wonder, those amazing tour operators and others in the shipping industry, why not they come with tangible projects with small ships of 1,000, 1,500 passengers and make them viable because they can. The seasonable trade in various parts of the world dictates this. Immigration, illegal immigration, that's very important. Lampedusa has been a cliché name now. We need to see an international coast guard. At first, at this stage, we need to see a European coast guard to guard the shores of Europe, to guard and secure the high seas in the Mediterranean, needless to say elsewhere. This is very, very important. The countries from where those immigrants emanate, they should be severely punished because even their officials are involved in this trafficking of human beings. And this is a disgrace for the 21st century. We need also more women, and after the successful women's event in Canada of WISTA, we need to see more involvement in the offshore operation of women on the shipping industry and beyond. And of course, we need to see all those people to be called on the dock with the extreme and unsecured loans they gave, that they destroyed banks and the entire ship finance system. This is very, very important. Lastly, we wish you to have a nice week ahead. We will be here next week again, and we'd like to tell you, be very, very cautious. Shipping will only recover in 2020, and if so, because the world economy is in a mess, in a very big mess, and it's not just Portugal, Spain, or Greece, or Italy. It's the big economies, the US economy, Germany to begin with. The German economy is trying to save herself and the banking system because they were very fast to be again in control of the European affairs. That's very, very important issues. And of course, don't forget various religious wars, what is happening with some despot being deposed for one reason or another, yet the next day counts. What is the result? You throw the stone, let's see what is the result of throwing a stone and what this entails. Of course, I'm cynical to say, to end this report, that if we do not remember what happened in the past, we're condemned to make the same mistakes in the future, what George and Diana said and what Jim Davis, the chairman of IMIF, always repeats, and we should follow this. Thank you very much. Have a lovely week and be cautious. Indeed, it just came to my mind, there are opportunities to invest in the shipping industry because it's the only industry that can give you a handsome capital gain when the market comes up. But you need to to trust your operators, to trust the managers, and trust your instinct in investing in this best industry, and invest in good people, not just rich people that have a big name, but those they know the business that is in their genes. Thank you very much. On this tone, have a lovely day.